Hospital. Today we will be sharing information about occupational therapy. So my topic is occupational therapy, adding years to life. Adding years to life, it's like living life to the fullest, not only adding your life to the years, but making some meaning of your life. So before I start with, I will explain you how you can become an occupational therapist. For being an occupational therapist, you need a HSC degree, that is 12th standard, with science background. And after you complete your HSC, you have to appear for the CET exams with PCB, physics, chemistry and biology. And according to your merit, you get this degree, like professional degree, which is of 4 years and 6 months internship. Throughout our degree course, we are taught about the syllabus which is similar to MBBS students. Like we study the human body, that is the anatomy, we study the physiology. For example, the heart. You study the external, internal features, structures of the heart. Then you study how the heart works. Then we study about psychology, we study about psychiatry. So with all this knowledge and training, we get the background knowledge to deal with our patients who have physical, mental, emotional and other issues. So occupational therapists find jobs in schools, in hospitals, in daycare units and in mental rehabilitation centers and so on, like in centers like which deal with cancer patients who require a long-term therapy. Occupational therapy is a field which uses therapeutic activities and occupations and recreation which are of value to the patients, which are productive and which are goal oriented. And throughout the lifespan, people come to us, like right from the time the child is born to the geriatric age. So it covers entire spectrum. It helps you to deal with life's problems and fulfill your life goals. Like your life goals, I mean to say, it differs from your different stages of life. Like for a student, for somebody who is 13-year-old, the life goals would be, or the occupations would be to study, to spend time in play activities and to complete his activities of daily living like eating, dressing, etc. For somebody who is 35-year-old, their occupation is to work, their occupation is to perform their activities of daily living and remove time for their personal issues like having a family, taking care of the family, etc. And for somebody who is 70-year-old, their occupation would be to spend time mostly in pursuing some hobbies. So that becomes their occupation. And removing time for themselves to take care of themselves, like performing their activities of daily living. Occupational therapy is holistic and client-centered. Like for every person, it differs. For every person, there are some different issues. So we take into consideration those issues and give holistic treatment to the patients. It enables participation in occupations by using the existing capacities of the patients to the fullest. Like whatever are the existing capacities with our patients, you have to use it to the fullest extent so that the patient is a productive member of the society and we improve the quality of life of that patient. Occupations refer to all the things that people do throughout their lifespan and they are need to do throughout the lifespan. Like there are certain things which you are supposed to do at a certain stage of life, and anywhere if there is any deviation from the normal condition, occupational therapy comes into play. Like, there are two aspects of occupational therapy. One is called performance components and the other is performance areas. By performance components, I mean performing your work, performing your activities of daily living, removing time for leisure activities, removing time for social interaction, and personal like having a family and taking care of the family. So these are your performance components, for which you need performance areas. Now these performance areas, that means to be enabled to function, to enable to do my roles properly in all these areas, I need to have some background. Like my backbone has to be straight to hold my body. So all these performance areas you have to take care with these performance areas, like the sensory system, the physical system, the cognitive system, then your emotional status, then your spiritual health. All these things comes into play. So this is how we take each and every case into consideration. These are some of the areas where occupational therapy can help you. Like orthopedic conditions like arthritis, the joint replacement surgeries, spondylosis, spinal injuries, etc. These are some of the diagnoses which are taken into consideration by occupational therapist. And the role of occupational therapist, slip discs, yeah. The role of therapist is to, first of all, it works in the acute stage. Like suppose if there is a fracture of the forearm, if a patient comes to us with a fracture of the forearm, our first step is that we reduce the pain, we reduce the swelling, and then we position the limb in the most functional and comforting position in which the further injury is avoided. So positioning and immobilization takes place. After that, the patient is then actually taken to the doctor. That is the intermediate phase. The doctor then diagnoses the patient on the basis of the X-ray and other investigations which are done. And after the patient is being diagnosed, like if the patient has to start with some medications or the patient has to start with some surgery, it all depends on the diagnosis. So then our role comes into play. So occupational therapy helps in three ways. It helps in prevention, it helps in maintenance, and it helps in preventing the reoccurrence. Like our role starts with education of the patients, like which bones are involved, like what position you have to maintain so that the maximum healing can take place. So right from education and prevention to, we ask the patient to perform activities within the patient's limitations. Like if the patient is able to move this much of the limb, we ask the patient to use this movements in some therapeutic activities. Now these therapeutic activities, I mean which are meaningful to the patient, what I said are, now suppose if this patient is a writer, so activities which are linked to his occupation, which would be meaningful to the patient, are given. Like we would give activities like holding a pen and taking a paper in front and taking the pen up like this, holding the pen this way and taking the pen up like this. So by this the patient is developing some intrinsic motivation that okay, yeah, I can now go back to my work because I am starting to use my hand in the activity which I am supposed to do after I am alright. Yeah, so using this principle wherein the patient's occupation we are using to give simulated work activities like taking the pen and giving this activity with the pen to improve his range of motion. Our aim basically is to improve this range of motion after the fracture. But it is pleasant and meaningful to the patient to perform this activity because the patient knows that okay, after I am recovering, or this will help me recover and go back to my work. So that is into consideration. Then comes the family support, like an education of the family also, like what the actual situation is with the client and how you can support these patients, because the immediate caretaker has also to be explained about the precautions, about what has to be done to promote healing. So the family picture comes. Then supporting the patient psychologically by reducing his anxieties, then working at the patient's physical components like improving the range of motion. Then slowly and steadily we try and improve the muscle power which is lost due to some injury or due to some accident. So then this fracture takes these components, like the family has to be supported, the patient has to be well educated about what condition he is going through, then there has to be support from the family, and the community has to support, so that we bridge a gap between the community and the patient. Like if the patient is poor and not able to afford the treatment, then we have links with the community so that these patients can get some help, so the community help the patient can get. Then we give activities related to the occupation, so we are training the patient by giving a stimulated work. By stimulated work means the patient is supposed to not only do these movements with the help of the pencil and the paper, the patient has to do wide range of movements when he is working at his place. So all those activities will not be possible at this stage where the patient is healing. So we have to give some activities which the patient can do which is within the limits of the patient and which will not cause any further injury. So various components are considered while you are treating a case. Sports injuries, joint protection techniques, we give them the positioning and the joint protection techniques. Then the obesity is a lifestyle disease. As I said, if there is any deviation from the normal condition, occupational therapy comes into play. In obesity, which is a lifestyle disease, there is increase in the weight, and some people, like the clients which come to us, they do not have that insight that okay, what are the problems which can occur due to weight. So we have to educate them, we have to motivate them कि okay, these are the consequences which can occur and which we have to avoid. So it starts right from developing motivation, improving the self-esteem and the body image. Then stress can be a factor which is contributing to obesity. So we have to understand the patient's view, like what we have to understand the pre-existing conditions due to which the patient is gaining weight. So one of which can be a stress or can be some metabolic issues which are adding weight to his body. So we have to identify those stressors and we have to give them stress management techniques. Then stretching and core muscle strengthening toning exercises. All these help in obesity management. Then pediatrics, conditions like cerebral palsy, autism, ADHD, learning disability, then emotional issues, perceptual issues. All these issues are found basically in the schools, and parents who are they can spot, they can find out ki okay, this child has some issues and which needs to be addressed. This child is not developing at the same pace as what the other child is developing. So if there is any delay in the milestone, or if the child is behaving little deviated from the normalcy, like the child is showing some stereotypical movements like flapping, the child is running away from one place to another, not focusing on one task for a longer time, or not doing those activities which the child has to do in that age group, then occupational therapy comes into play. Sensory integration here works for these clients. Like by sensory integration technique, I mean the sensations which are coming to the person, the child, they are either coming in plenty in number that the brain is not able to accept these sensations or filter these sensations. Okay, so if there are so many sensations coming to my body, like there is so much of noise, there is so much of light, fragrance, so many sensations are just bombarding my body, and I have to filter these sensations so that I am able to talk to you and understand what you guys are saying. So that is reception of the sensations, then filtering of the sensations, and reciprocating. So these three factors are affected in these children, and so sensory integration therapy is required for these children. Like this chart shows, the sensory intake, sensory integration occurs by planning and organizing the behavior, and then the adaptive interaction and learning takes place. Then the feedback goes to the brain and the cycle continues. These are the procedures by which we used to treat these children. Like one child is wrapped and the ball is pressed on the child. The child's hyperactivity is controlled by this way. And in the other picture, the child is on the therapy ball and the child is given some activities to enable some goals. And these goals are improving the grip, like helping the child in the scholastic activities, like improving the grip, improving the fine motor coordination, and improving cognitive abilities of the child like memory, reasoning, attention span, etc., which are affected in these children. Improving the handwriting, then developing a social skills, healthy social skills, like the give and take relationships. Like we see in autism, the child is not able to give reciprocal communication. The child doesn't know what is happening around. So we develop social skills, we develop healthy play in the child, provide engagements in a group activity. By engagements in group activity, the child learns many group behaviors. Learning disability. It is a group of disorders manifested by significant difficulties in the acquisition and use of listening, speaking, reading, writing, reasoning or mathematical abilities or of social skills. This is the handwriting example which is found in these children. So you can see there are a lot of errors, bizarre spelling mistakes, and inappropriate use of words, etc. The role of occupational therapy over here starts right from assessment of the child. Now we assess the child in different environments, in the schools, in the home, and in the play environment, because at every place the child appears to be different. So assessment is done using standardized scales. There are standardized scales like sensory profile test, etc., which are used. It has series of tests which can predict, okay, this child has these issues. So we have certain standardized tests. Then we plan remediation program using neurodevelopmental and sensory integration therapy. We provide grippers to overcome physical limitations. Provide guidelines to the teachers so that the child's limitations are understood. Now this particular child has to be accepted in the school. So we have to educate the teachers. Okay, these are the issues with the child. Because of this, the child is behaving like this. And the child can be improved if you give sufficient support to this child. Cardiopulmonary status, like after coronary bypass surgery or valve replacement, the patient has to go back to the original life. So it starts with patient education, improving the muscle power of the respiratory muscles, energy conservation techniques, work analysis, work simplification techniques. Like if the patient is a laborer, if the patient is holding a lot of weights which he is not supposed to after this procedure, then we have to do the work analysis and we have to teach them some energy conservation techniques by which the patient can go back to his original job. by using some adaptations, or if these adaptations are not possible, then we have to recommend that the patient changes his job, which suits his anatomy, which suits his physiology, like the changes which has taken place in his body, it has to suit, the occupation has to suit it. Then amputation. Amputation is the loss of the limb. Role of occupational therapy in this is psychological upliftment. Like we have to explain the patient that whatever has happened, that person has to accept and develop the confidence and self-image. Then early stump use. It goes with the same goal of accepting the body and putting the body to some use even after the part is lost. Improving body awareness and preventing neglect. Developing the muscle strength, balance and bed transfers. Processes training, wearing of the processes and checkouts. Like the patient has to be trained to use artificial processes. Processes and orthoses are the devices which are used by the patient to overcome the limitations. Like the splints which are given after to recover from the fracture. Then the psychiatry, treatment and eventual reintegration of the patients as functional members of society. This is the aim of occupational therapists, to reintegrate the patients who have psychiatric issues like schizophrenia, bipolar mood disorders, mania, etc. So the role of occupational therapy here is resocialization, teaching them social skills, satisfaction of emotional needs. Like satisfaction of emotional needs as in the patient feels that the patient is no more loved and respected by the society. So satisfying the emotional needs of the patients to overcome the psychiatric illness. Cognitive behavioral therapy. This is a therapy which is used by the occupational therapist, in which the cognitive skills which are affected in the psychiatric patients are regained by therapeutic activities, and these activities can be solving a puzzle and so on and so forth. Like there are so many activities which are designed to give this to the patients to develop their cognitive abilities. Projective technique, movement therapy and behavioral therapy. Like exercises are designed for these patients so that there is a body awareness, because in these patients there is a perceptual and cognitive issues. Like the patient doesn't know where the patient is in respect to the environment. Gynecological conditions. In gynecological conditions, we do pelvic floor exercises, strengthening of the peroneal muscles, maintaining flexibility and mobility, relaxation techniques and sensory stimulation therapy. Like if the lady is pregnant, we advise a lot of sensory stimulation therapy, like the to and fro movements, rocking of the pregnant lady, so that the child receives enough sensory stimulations. Work related injuries. During work, there are injuries like the low back pain, sciatica, carpal tunnel syndrome. This is the ergonomical modification at work. Ergonomics is how you relate your body to the physical structures and how you can be more comfortable. So this is the comfortable position of how your environment, how your monitor has to be, how your sitting arrangement has to be. This science is called ergonomics. We do help in disability evaluation. We are a part of team members which help in issuing the certificates for the patients who have some disability. So we evaluate the percentage of disability considering the components like range of motion, muscle power, sensations, locomotion, ADL, that is activities of daily living, independence, etc. 40% and above are given exemptions and other facilities. Hospice care. Hospice care is end of life care. Like patients who have HIV, patients who have cancer, they have the insight into the illness, okay, I am going to die eventually. So our role over here is to give them psychological and spiritual support, and the goal is to care, to help these people who are dying to die with peace, comfort and dignity. The caregivers try to control pain and other symptoms so as the person can remain as alert and comfortable. Like those who are with cancer and other issues and diagnosed with terminally ill patients, we give them activities which keeps them engaged, activities which are goal oriented, activities which are productive, which help the client realize कि okay, I have lived my life successfully, and all these activities help him calm down his mind and to accept the death peacefully. Role of occupational therapy over here is relaxation therapy, helping fulfill last wishes of life, providing easy access to environment, hobby development and engagement in productive tasks. Geriatrics, this is old age. With increasing age, people tend to be affected by multiple problems in multiple areas of life. There are degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, dementia, etc., which needs occupational therapy intervention. Social issues like isolation, financial insecurity, inability to live independently, all these issues are found in geriatric group of population. So we help them in acute care, long-term care, home health care, provide them with physical and psychological support, plan therapy for these patients, and maintain their current status and prevent further injuries. Like we make some changes in the environment which will help further deterioration of these patients. Like these changes can be adaptations in the patient's environment which will help to prevent any further trauma to these patients. Use of compensatory strategies and rehabilitative techniques to help these patients to live with disability and regain maximum function. Orthosis, prosthesis, wheelchair prescription. This is also a role of occupational therapy. These are some of the assistive devices which are prescribed, and occupational therapists train these individuals in using these assistive devices. Assistance in ADL. Assistance in ADL is mostly required to a patient who has chronic issues. Like chronically, if the patient is not healed by any other methods, then the last aim is providing independence using these assistive technologies. Assistive technologies can be an enlarged spoon if the patient has not regained this movement, has not regained this flexion movement, what we call. So we have to modify the devices which are used by the patient so that the patient with the limitations can be independent. I hope you understood. So the spoon is being enlarged so that the patient can use this enlarged spoon and be independent in his eating. So this is the work of occupational therapist. Adaptations, providing modifications like installing grab bars, ramps, etc. Providing accessibility to temples, like you have seen ramps in the hospitals to enable the disabled to get access to the hospitals. Then adaptive devices, enlarged spoons, long handle scrubber. For those people who have decreased range of motion, who cannot reach their body, their back, we have long handle scrubber so that they can perform their activities of daily living like bathing independently. Environment, these are the environmental adaptations. It is the non-skid mat, the grab bars, which help this geriatric population to cope up with their disabilities. This is the training given by occupational therapist to regain walking. Community-based rehabilitation. We do community-based rehabilitation in the sense in rural areas where there are limited facilities available. We have to use bamboo sticks, we have to use tires, trees, etc., which are available in plenty over them and fulfill our aims. Like a crutch can be made out of 2 bamboo sticks, because those people out there, due to financial limitations, they cannot get access to crutch. So our aim is to provide the functional mobility to the patient, and thereby we have to adapt to what is available over there in their environment so that it can be of use to them. Occupational therapy therefore helps bridging the gap between what we can do, what we want to do, and what we need to do. Thank you.